Welcome to Down and Down. This is a rabbit hole podcast.
This is a rabbit.
And I motion to you.
This is a rabbit. Hey guys, I'm Buck. I'm a rabbit. Oh man. And did you say who you are?
No, I'm Jack. But I can't point to me because I'm not a rabbit. I'm a
This
jackalope.
is a jackalope. Oh. Wow. I feel we don't really consume alcohol, guys. You would think that we do.
We don't.
The way we start these things off.
We don't have those types of vices.
Nope.
Because we love Jesus.
Well, we do love Jesus. Maybe we'll have the alcohol conversation on a different episode.
That just means we don't get drunk because
No, you said if you drink alcohol, you hate Jesus. That's what I heard.
That's what you heard.
Yeah.
With them big ears, you should be able to hear better.
I know. Well, I mean, or I could hear between the lines. This is a rabbit.
Like you said lions instead of lions.
I could hear between the lions.
That's like that. Do you remember that old puppet show that was Between the Lions? And it was, instead of Between the Lions, it was a play on, and it was a library.
I remember the movie Secondhand Lions with Robert Duvall and Haley Joel Osment and Michael Caine.
That's a completely different.
That's way different.
Well, those are different, but what do these things have in common? Loud chewing, interrupting conversations, bad driving skills, people who are late all the time, cooking fish in are you going to name them all before we even go over them? I'm saying, what do they have in common? You don't know. I'm just naming some.
I do know. I actually do know what they have in common. I'm the one person who does right now. What do they have in common, Jack?
These are all pet peeves, which is different than having a pet named Peeves. But that would be a cool pet name. Like if you had your pet and you named it Peeves, so you could say, this is my pet, Peeves. You know what? Let's just jump into this rabbit hole.
Down and down the rabbit hole. Just how deep does it go? Where it stops, nobody knows. So let's go down the rabbit hole. Down and down the rabbit hole. Down and down the rabbit hole.
So, pet peeves.
Peeves is a poltergeist in Harry Potter.
Oh, that's right. You're correct on that. Yeah. He's not anybody's pet.
No, he's a ghost. But kind of. They describe him as different.
Yeah.
Than Harry Potter, than
he's in
other
the
ghosts.
Library.
Well, he's all over Hogwarts.
And the game, he's in the library.
He'll be all over.
Well, there's this whole. I think it was him.
He particularly does a thing in a quest that you're sneaking into the forbidden section in the library.
That.
Yeah. Have you finished that game?
No.
It's great. It's such a great game.
It's fun. My ADHD kicks in. And then I have to come back later and do things because
that's why you don't finish things.
Yeah.
My pet peeve is people who don't finish things. It is, I will say, we've started and not finished enough things that it has become a bit of a pet peeve, but not like a terrible one. But that's more like a...
But they're not always my fault.
I didn't say it was. Just most of the time.
Nah.
Jack, we'll start some kind of project. We'll work on it. And then one day Jack will come and be like, hey, this, and this. And then subtly, but surely, things will of that other project will just fizzle away.
Listen,
And then
the
and then Buck will be like, "Hey,
D&D
what about this?" He's like, "Yeah, I
went for
thought about
six
that.
years.
I was thinking about that." It's still
D and
going technically. We just haven't played in a
Yeah,
while.
we're gonna play next week,
Hopefully.
supposedly. But
But
but it has been it's been it was 6 years.
yeah,
So I mean, without anything. So that's
it's
a
true.
record.
Well, let's have you start your pet peeves for real. I'm just kidding with that one, but like start
Stupid
with one.
people.
We'll alternate. Let's
That's a true, and that
coming
is
in
the
hot.
truth. That is.
Coming in hot.
I almost went with a different one, and I'll get to it. But this is not one that you hear enough because ignorance, like if you're just ignorant of something and you're able to learn, that's one thing. But if you are just stupid and will not learn, if you cannot grasp things, um, that bothers me. I don't do well with stupid.
So like flat earthers and anti-vaxxers, like real
Yeah,
tough.
I mean,
And
some
when we
of the
say, look, to clarify, when we say anti-vaxxers, we're not saying, oh, people who didn't take the COVID vaccine, because that's a little bit different. We're talking about
uh,
people who
yeah,
won't take the measles shot or get
yeah,
their hepatitis shot or something like that because they think that'll cause autism or something.
yeah,
And
and it's easy to try to do that on this side of it when we're not battling those other things, and the reason we're not battling those other things is because we have vaccines for those things. But
can I
it
can I throw a little thing in there really quick before you move
sure,
on? So one time I was talking to a friend of mine who was an anti-vaxxer and won't say his name, but his son was a chiropractor and a lot of chiropractors kind of push an anti-vaccine uh like narrative. They think that a lot of vaccines aren't crazy necessary, which there are some that I think, hey, maybe not, but like it's usually all or nothing. And my friend was like, "What do they do before all the vaccines? What it like? How did people
died
like?" Yeah, that's like several of us were like, "They died."
literally.
And-
Polio was also a thing,
yeah,
and we have a vaccine for that that keeps people from having polio
yeah.
and being like
It's
anyway.
almost a willful ignorance to uphold a worldview in a lot of ways that is not really super defensible. Um, and so like it's kind of really leaning into what you're saying, like being stupid while you have the power to not be.
Yeah.
Um,
I value intelligence anyway, and you know this about me. And I think that you do too. I know that you do too, but I know it may not bother you to the same extent that it does
no,
me. But people that are just dumb, that are just unwilling to learn, that it irritates me to my soul. We had a friend and um who had kind of latched on to our family. We've talked about her here before, and she kind of latched on to our family and just kind of in, uncomfortably. We weren't always necessarily really comfortable with her always being around, but there was nothing we could really do. We were trying to be nice and welcoming and all this kind of stuff. And through me, she met Buck. Um, would you, if we're talking, you know who I'm talking about? We're
yes,
Pemberley.
yeah,
Um, how she just would be unwilling. Like you could have these conversations with her, but she could not grasp things. And even if you like tried to explain things, she was just almost like dead set against learning sometimes.
I think on her, at least in her particular case, she kind of led her choices by emotion.
Yeah,
Um,
very,
and
very much so, which is another
we,
thing.
we, which I don't think there's anything wrong with being emotional. I can be emotional, but I don't generally let emotions rule me or dictate my choices, if that makes sense. And obviously you don't. You're driven by logic most of the time. And so I think that's exactly the problem. Like sometimes like tense, I don't want to say arguments, but like tense debates or whatever would kind of break out, and you're presenting like a logical explanation of like this, and then it kind of like on her end it kind of ends up getting chalked up not necessarily to like upsetness or like being upset or whatever, but
Sometimes, but
so
yeah,
it could get there. But like she couldn't get over her feelings about a thing even though she was presented with facts or whatever. And this really sounds like we're like conservative activists talking about woke activism right now. But
yeah,
funny thing, this
and
person was not woke
was
at
not
all.
that.
And but honestly, this was just it's amazing that that you guys were friends at all, because you were such stark different in how you present things. Like my criticism of you is like you're so like based on like logic and fact so much that you can be too harshly blunt sometimes.
Which is
Um,
funny because I don't think that. Because I have had to learn tact. I have
you have it,
people.
you have it. That's why I say
I
sometimes.
have people
Um,
that I know very well who do not even have that. People
and
that I
that's true.
deal with on
Oh,
a daily
we both have a
basis.
friend who does not do it well.
Well, yeah, we
Tom
do.
does
But I'm
not do it well at
he
all.
doesn't. He doesn't.
Um,
And he and I think can understand each other because of that.
well,
But
he's the
I'm thinking of a specific lady at my church. Um, and how even just this week
short
she
hair.
said mhm, she
Yeah.
said something to me, and this is like within a month or two, this is like the third or fourth time that she has said something that has gotten under my skin because she literally has no tact, and it comes across as being hateful. And I think there's a difference between being blunt and even brutally blunt sometimes, and then just being hateful. Um, if that makes sense.
Hmm. Well,
Yeah, I can.
there's a time to be all of these things anyway. But like, but the people who tend to lean into willful ignorance are the ones that get easily offended anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So like that's, I
They
think
a lot of
she
times
got
tend to not be
upset.
able.
I think she got upset at you a lot. But I
Oh
think
yeah,
a lot of times she, like knew you weren't trying to be mean or something like that.
I would,
Um,
because you'd be in a lot of those conversations, and I
yeah.
would preference it with I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just trying to break this down to and
Yeah.
understand your side. I need to understand your side to know where you're coming from,
Hmm.
and let me present my side so that you can understand. And it would unnerve her
Yeah.
that I disagreed with her and could, I think, articulate my side because she
Hmm.
was not very good at that.
Unfortunately, that friendship did come to a close.
Not because of me though,
No, not because of you. Um,
oddly.
but
Um,
but I will say probably look like that person looking back on those instances
oh yeah.
would fuel her feelings about it. Um,
Absolutely. I
which I
mean,
think people have a tendency to do also, rather than
and
being
I
trying to
know
be
that
objective.
she takes things. I don't even have to be around her now to know that she looks back and thinks that I was and just kind of paints, well, he was just horrible. Like because she
Yeah.
considered herself to be like a professional musician, and I told her I didn't think she was, and that really like shook her to the core that how dare I say that I didn't think she was. But nothing of her income or anything, nothing that she did for a living helped her. It had anything to do with any of that, like anything to do with her.
All those thoughts are just what just went through my head, but I don't think that's what she was like. Those are the criteria she was
Apparently not.
considering.
She had a degree in it,
Um,
but I have a
I
degree in
think
theater.
that's what it like professional level capability, maybe.
I have a degree
Um,
in theater, and I have been paid to like
but you're not a professional actor
train,
either.
but I don't consider myself a
Yeah.
professional actor.
Um, it was really that whole thing. I think was just you guys just could not understand each other. We've had other friends who've had the same problem, which is weird because those two friends are just the introverted, extroverted versions of each other as far as like Myers-Briggs personality type. Um,
Yeah.
one of the one of them had, well, quote
One of
unquote,
them
had
supposedly had the same as
had the
me,
same as you, but I question that.
and the other one
Um,
is Tom.
yeah, the other one is Tom. Tom, we love Tom. Tom, maybe one day he'll be on here, but he is our friend that is just imagine you guys remember the grumpy cat meme? That's Tom. But in reality, Tom
In one of
has
our
a heart of
past
gold,
in one
but
of
he's
our past
just a moody
episodes,
broody guy.
we are naming all of our friends, and there's this image of like the wall, and it
Yeah.
has all these pictures. He is the cat on
Yeah.
there.
Um, but so yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to one of mine. I think we've gotten that pet peeve knocked out. Um, you know what I'm gonna say. I know you know what I'm gonna say. Have you ever been out to eat
Hmm.
and you're in a restaurant, a nice restaurant, and
I've never been out to eat.
you look over at a table, it's a booth, probably,
I just saw this yesterday and thought about you.
and there's a 50-year-old couple, and they're just both sitting on the same side of the booth.
Oh, they wasn't 50. They were younger.
I see it in older couples quite a lot. Well, middle-aged couples quite a lot. Now and yeah, I can't stand same side boothing. I cannot stand it. I don't know when this started. Maybe I do, but I just remember, Jack, you remember whenever we were in college, we go to Denny's
Yeah.
after like shows and stuff like that. Because, like whenever Jack was a theater major in college, and pretty much every time a show happened, we'd go out to eat at Denny's afterwards.
Yeah. There's very
And
few things open. It was either
yeah,
Denny's or Waffle House, and it was a
or
toss up for
IHOP.
which one
Well,
we
IHOP
or
was kind of
IHOP.
it depended on like exactly
Yeah.
how late it was
And
because they closed a little bit
I
earlier.
used to get out of practice late a lot too. So we've frequented
Yeah.
those places.
And I saw people sitting on the same side of the booth then, and I that was the first time I remember thinking it. But I think the thing that set it in stone for me was one time we were out to eat there, and there was a lesbian couple. They were probably in their 20s, early 20s, and they were sitting on the same side of the booth, and there was a lot of movement going on under the table, and I'm
You're a
pretty
homophobe.
sure, yeah, I'm a
You're just a
homophobe.
homophobe.
I'm just it wouldn't it
That's
would have been the
that's
same
different than a
scenario.
homophone.
It'd have been the same scenario if it were a heterosexual couple. Um, but I'm pretty sure there was some foreplay going on under the table, and
That's not. Go ahead.
Oh, it is.
It can be. It can also be the main course.
Eh,
If you just out
I
and
mean, if that's all the goal is, but I
yeah, I
think
mean if they're you
okay, there was some heavy petting going on under the table. I
I don't remember
cannot
this.
confirm that it was, but I am
You should have
90%
asked
sure.
them.
Hey guys, let me smell your
They were
fingers.
girls.
Did you hear me?
Ew. Yes. Why did you go there? I just why did you have first off there were girls and not guys, and then you had to say smell your you should have just said lesbian one and lesbian two. Everybody
Yeah, I took it too far, didn't I?
everybody put your hands up.
Ew. Um, I don't know what it is. Like for one,
Freeze.
for hands up in the air. Um, for one, are you trying to convey to everybody that you're a couple? Okay, we get it. You're two people out at dinner together. Like
You have to sit beside each other.
yeah,
You can't
like
sit across from each other
this
and have a
this
normal
this
conversation looking in
same
each other's eyes.
this same concept also applies to like whenever you see a couple driving down the road in a truck that has like one seat.
Yeah, that don't bother me.
Like it applies. It's the same for me.
It doesn't really bother me.
It's not
Sometimes they
quite
just
as bad, but
yeah,
because
sometimes they're
it's a little
just
bit
in
more
love and they
private.
want to. Yeah, and it is more private. And if you have, which you don't really see bench seats in trucks like that as much anymore, unless it is
They're
an older
usually
truck.
older trucks. Yeah.
Yeah, but and there is something that I don't have a problem, especially if they're younger.
I mean, that's
Um,
usually who it is in those kinds of scenarios.
yeah,
Now, I don't have a
but
problem. I don't have a big problem with PDA. Like, I mean, you shouldn't be making out in front of a bunch of people, but like kissing, hugging, holding hands, like that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. But there's just something about it. I'm like, just sit across from each other.
and
Like,
have a conversation.
yes, like, you have any idea how awkward it looks to see people talking right beside, like, like having to turn to each other, and there's just an empty booth right there.
I mean,
Like,
it it definitely doesn't bother me as bad as it does you. I don't
it, it's one of
particularly
my top
like
ones.
I don't particularly like to do it. Like I don't want like if Jill and I go out, we don't typically sit beside each other on the same side. Now she has on a occasion, and it's usually specific ones. There's actually a picture of us. Um, and I took a picture of us in this restaurant, and we were sitting on the same side. She had just gotten out of the hospital. Little different.
Yeah.
Um, so and she was very weak, so she's kind of using me as like she kind of rested on me and stuff. Little different. This is not something we typically would do. And I don't. I'm the same way. I don't want to turn to have to talk to you, to look at you, to talk to you.
Hmm.
But it doesn't bother me in the same way that it does you because I'm just like whatever. They that's their life. They can do what they want to do.
I
But
mean, technically,
e-
yes, but
even
I
if
can
they look
also be
stupid
annoyed
doing it,
by it.
even if they
Yeah.
look stupid
I can
doing it,
like it's like when I see it, it's just an eye roll moment. It's not like something like you
because
know
you
what I'm
don't
saying?
have to sit beside you. Like you literally rode beside each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
You just rode in the car beside each other, more than likely. Not always. I'm sure people meet up sometimes, but like you just, and then you're going to go home and you're going to be in the same house together. It's just, it's not necessary.
I
But
remember, I remember, I did the year that I graduated college, I led worship for a like a children's camp, and we kind of like formed the entire staff of the camp or whatever, and a bunch of us kind of all started hanging out. And one of the girls, I told that this was one of my pet peeves to her, and she was like, "I like sitting on the same side of the booth." I'm like, "Well, you're wrong." I just
oh yeah,
straight up said it to her. You're wrong.
um,
It's dumb.
blonde girl.
She was actually, I don't think you knew this girl. You didn't know.
Oh,
Like,
there was a so I feel like this a similar conversation was had.
maybe it did.
This was in our this was in our writing class that we took together. in college. And I can't think of her name at the top of my head. She's the girl that used to walk her pet cat um on a leash at college. Uh, and I feel like she had said something similar. Yeah, I feel like it was a very similar conversation that was had
Mm.
because this was a big deal for you and has been for a long time.
I mean, a big deal is a bit of an overstatement, but it
No,
is a
you say
big
it's one
pet
of your
peeve.
top. It's one of your
It's one
top
of my
pet peeves.
top. It's one of my top.
You now, if you see people doing it, you will go take their butter knife and stab them in the hand
Oh
with it.
my God. Did not know where that was going. Just on record, I have not stabbed anybody with a butter knife ever.
It was a steak knife.
One of the rounded tip ones.
Yeah,
Um, God.
Ryan's or something.
Ryan's. Um, don't miss those.
Quincy's big
But
fat East Road.
yeah. Um,
All right.
yeah. All right, your turn.
You know, I think you probably know where I'm gonna go with this one.
Who knows?
Well, since we're talking about eating,
Ah, this was
I
actually keep going. Go
cannot
ahead.
stand mouth noises. Uh, I cannot stand eating
It doesn't
noises.
work if you're trying to do it though.
Yes, if you're like trying to annoy me, I'm just gonna be like, shut up. But I cannot stand swallowing noises. I can't stand chewing noises. I can't stand drinking noises. I can't. Bug
The
likes to
thing that's
chomp on his ice,
I do chomp on ice.
and he's
The
eroded
thing
his
that
teeth down.
stinks, I haven't really. The thing that stinks about this pet peeve is that not, I mean, you cannot make a lot of food noises. The only real food noise that I make is chomping on ice. But but if we're talking on the phone or playing Fortnite or something like that, I'm like he's gonna hear it because it gets amplified through the microphone, and I end up feeling like a slob because he's like, "Why don't you chop on that a little louder?" Blah blah blah. Like,
You are a slob.
shut up.
So Coney, my oldest child, still talks about because we were all playing one time on Fortnite, and he still will talk about where I just was like, you started chewing on something, and
I think I was eating chips.
I said, I think I said, you know, I love you, Buck, and he goes, okay, and you automatically that I was fixing to be like, but if you don't stop, and
I didn't.
Tony still cracks up about this.
The fact that you didn't have to tell me what it was, I
It's
knew
like,
exactly what it was.
yeah.
Well, hey, that was restraint on your part.
Yeah.
Usually you just make me feel bad about myself. Um, but no, I'm usually pretty good about muting the microphone whenever I'm eating. I forgot in that moment, and I think it was just like I had just hopped on and we had just started playing, and I wasn't thinking because I'll eat snacks whenever we're playing video games and stuff together.
Mhm.
Um,
Going back to
but
Kimberly, when she would play with us, a lot of times we would hear her eating and stuff on there. So sometimes I couldn't tell who it was, because there would be five of us
yeah,
sometimes on at a time, and there were several times that I would just go, also in D&D, and I'll just be like,
well, it was a
"Who's eating?"
particular person in D&D that usually was the case.
That's true. But a lot of times I'll be
Um,
like, I'll just say, "Who's eating?" or who needs to mute their mic. So
yep.
everybody knows. Everybody knows I have misophonia. It's a thing.
It doesn't. I don't generally get bothered by it in like person. Um,
Oh, I do.
like even in well, most of the time I don't pay attention to it because most people aren't sitting there making those noises loud enough for you to hear in person.
Okay.
Most
I
people.
wish Beverly was here to as a witness. When Beverly and I worked our first job together, um, there was this. I'm gonna say her name because ain't nobody gonna. I don't even remember the girl's last name. There was this girl named Tina, and Tina, um, I don't know how you make soup crunchy.
What? Crackers,
Everything,
maybe?
I don't think she had no cracker. Everything was a noise. She would slurp it, she would crunch it, she would chomp it, everything to the point like eating apples in class. And then I, at that moment, was felt vindicated because I looked up and I saw everybody else in the room look up, and we were all like meeting eyes because she had her earphones in her little
Mm,
earbuds in. She didn't know how loud she'd been, but it didn't matter because she did that every day, even when she didn't have her earbuds
yeah.
in. And she was just a loud, obnoxious eater. And so, like, if we were in the break room eating at the same time her, you could hear every bite of salad, every slurp of
Everybody,
soup,
oh,
every,
eh,
every
everybody
bite,
salad. I don't know why that sounded funny to me.
every bite of salad. Her drink, everything she would drink. So, probably she's probably the worst I have ever
My
come across.
I'm surprised you haven't ever been bothered by this. My jaws pop whenever I chew.
My jaws pop when I chew too.
So like it's probably louder to me than it
It
is to
is.
everybody else because it's right there in my ears. But sometimes you can hear them. But
Now, Jill has like caverns in her face. I joke with her about because she's had some surgeries. It's like so she's had her sinuses cleared out twice already.
yeah.
She probably needs it again. But I tell her that everything echoes in there because it is hollow. But I can hear a lot of her food, and I try not to hurt her feelings, but she can see me look at her and she'll like try to be, and I know she can't help it. So I'll turn the TV up or I will, make sure that I'm like eating as well. Like
Your ADD doesn't help it at all.
oh, yeah.
Um,
This is one of my top.
Now I think I've got one other thing. I don't really do this as much anymore, but one other thing that
Is that
I
slurp thing
used
you
to
used
do,
to
yeah.
do
So whenever
with
I
the
drink,
ice?
I kind of not really the ice.
Like
I'm
it would
talking
get
about
in the way or
like
something.
so
What you used to
whenever I
say.
drink soda, I kind of like form a straw with my tongue and I kind of like sip it in because it tastes better that way. I don't know why. It's like I don't know. I get more of the taste rather than just letting it pour into my mouth. Um, so what would happen would be like as I'm like kind of drinking it in and like the angle of the drink would go and I would stop like having soda to come into my mouth. It would get to the point where it would just make like a noise. Um
Well, the reason I said ice is because there's a time or two you'd be like,
sometimes
ice
ice
just
would get
got
in the
in the
way.
way.
Sometimes ice would get in the way. Um and I don't really do that much anymore. I did it a lot back in college.
Hmm.
But
You would also, this is gonna sound funny the way I was gonna say it. You would suck candy corn into your mouth.
not constantly. That was like a thing that I just did at one time, like in one moment, like one instance. Like I
Uh-huh.
didn't eat it that way. I was just doing it, but it bothered you a lot.
Because I don't
Oh,
like mouth noises. Now I'm not as bad as my niece is. One of my nieces had she will like break. I've seen her break down crying over mouth noises before, and I'm like, I'm not gonna cry. I might snap and say something, but I'm not gonna cry over it. But that also might be just a difference in personality. I don't know.
yeah. Jack loves to be like, you used to do this. And sometimes the used to part is grossly overstated.
I can remember you doing that in more than one place. I
You
can
can
remember you
remember
doing
me
it on
doing
the,
that at camp
and I can remember you doing it in your room.
around the same time.
So it was a
It
time
might have
frame of
actually
your
been
life when you used to do it.
it might have
Period.
actually been within the same few days.
No,
Like
it wasn't.
it
That
might have been
wasn't.
the same bag of candy corn that I was eating from.
I don't think so. Because one time, I think one of the one times at camp it was actually M&Ms.
But we had two bags of candy, remember?
But the other time was like around Halloween. The one at your house was closer to Halloween.
Who knows? I might
Because
have
there
just
was
been
also
doing it
the
to get on your
pumpkin
nerves at that
kind.
point.
There's also a pumpkin kind.
It's true. Um, but so yeah, that that was a fun thing. I will say this too, just to kind of add to it. I can't stand mukbang noises.
Mm.
Like watching people eat and put like and making like even in like me and Doe like to watch people play like indie video games a lot of times, and they'll put like Foley sounds of people eating in there, and this way over the top. And I'm just like, this is too much. It needs to be way more subtle. But I can't handle mukbang
Mm.
at all because they
That's not
turn
my
those
type of thing.
microphones up and they get all that seafood butter all over their face. I just
It's
can't. I
it's
can't do it.
disgusting.
I can't do it. I like watching food vlogging. That is different than
That's
mukbang. I
I
can't.
will also say I don't always like to watch people eat because the way people eat sometimes grosses me out. Just
Yeah,
their habits in general can gross me out.
but I think a lot of people enjoy that, so they go over the top with it, which is
You know,
weird to me.
I
Um,
once was dating a girl and she made a lot of noises eating, and I told her she sounded like a pig at the slop.
who's this?
One of my ex-girlfriends.
You tell me whenever we're done.
Wasn't very
Um,
nice of me, but it was honest.
well, no one ever accused you of being nice. Um,
I have been accused of that.
all right, my turn. This one, I don't know what it is, man. I can't stand it. I'm generally not somebody that snaps at people. That's what I wondered. I'm generally not somebody that snaps at people, but there's a thing that you can do to me, and Jack knows it, and he does it, and it makes me want to punch him in the face. Um, he does it on purpose, and I might as well be like, I'm just going to slap you in the face because that's a thing he hates too. It's like the equivalent of that, but it's not a matter of disrespect. I just cannot stand the way it feels. It's not even that it hurts that bad. It does hurt, but it's not that it's like stubbing your toe. Like it's not
Just
the
say
worst.
it.
I cannot stand to be slapped on the small of my back. I can't. I can't stand it. I don't know what it is. It is the most irritating sensation that I've ever had. I would rather be slapped in the face. Like,
No, that's the worst.
well, I mean,
I
you
don't
don't
like
like it
things that,
because it's a disrespect thing.
well,
Like,
that's part of it. I just don't like, but I also just don't like things like in my face. I don't want things coming at my face.
I'm sorry. I turned into a 12-year-old for a second.
Without consent. But
Ew. Um, but I can't stand it. I remember I was in BCM back in college on leadership, and there was a girl. She was the sweetest girl in the world. She had never been mean at all, or never got on my nerves. But she came up to me and like she gave me like a side hug and then patted me really hard right there, and I just snapped at her, and she was like, "Whoa!" And I was like, I don't know what it was. I came back and apologized like later on, but I think that like I really like I don't want to say turned her off from me, but because that sounds
traumatized her.
like put her out with me. No, put her off. What is the word the phrase I'm looking for?
I'm not going to tell you. I want you to sit here and stew in
You
this.
know what it is. Don't be a dick. Oh, uh, what is the word? What
I think this can work. You don't want to put her off, but
put her off? Yeah. Um, I said it right. You didn't even say I said it, jerk.
the way it was because you said you didn't want to put her off with you, and that sounds weird.
Oh, but yeah. I it's so stupid. It's such a stupid thing. I just cannot stand it. And then Jack will come like he'll walk behind me or walk beside me and just smack me there and just want to beat your
It's funny
face
because
in.
I will do that, or I'll do a
He'll
like
punch me in the back.
a nut tap,
He
And
will
you
do
would
that.
rather me nut tap you than smack you in the
Well, I
back.
also know you're not gonna nut tap me hard enough to really like hurt real bad either. It'll just be kind of like a more of a shock than anything.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't take much, man. It doesn't take much just to tap me on the small of the back, and I'm like, oh, no, throw fists. Um, I don't know what it is, man. Like it
But
is.
you would also do you would run your hand down my face knowing
Yeah.
that it would drive me crazy. So I don't want these listeners thinking that this is one-sided.
It's
It's
such a
just
funny reaction
a
every time.
lifelong friendship. If your friends cannot pick on you like this, then you're not what friends do you have?
I tolerate it with Jack a lot more than I do with anybody else. But yeah, I forgot about running my hand down your face.
And that goes back. Like I don't like to be touched in my face. I don't want things coming in my face. That sounded bad. I, I don't don't smack my
Just go with
face.
it.
Don't smack my face. Don't and you would run your hand down my face, and you would do it when I was driving.
You would always immediately stop and be like, "What just happened?"
It's like a dog when they tilt their head.
Yeah. Oh, oh
Likewise, I would
man.
always hit you in your eye and make you see white.
Oh god. Yeah. I'm surprised I'm not blind. Um, I don't know how you manage to do it. The only other person that manages to do that is my wife. Um,
We're
like you're just
similar.
yeah. Um,
We've had that discussion before, I think,
yeah.
on here.
But anyways, your turn.
Um, what have we said so far? I'm trying to remember everything.
You did stupid people and food
And
noises.
misophonia, yeah. So I've got different things I could say. I think I want to talk about sometimes I can get road rage. And my oldest child, Coney, loves it when I get road rage because whatever I say, I have this thing where I like to be just as surprised as everybody else about what's going to come out of my mouth. So I don't ever always know what I'm going to say, but whatever comes out of my mouth is going to make Coney laugh. And so he loves it when people annoy me with their driving habits. They cut me off, they go too slow, they get on my tail, whatever it is, and I'm very because I am kind of blunt and kind of sharp toned and also quick witted that things come out and I don't
Sharp
always
tone sounds so nice.
it's a family
I'm
trait.
sharp toned.
I have a sharp tone to my voice. Uh and it can sound quite mean at times.
Can it?
Yeah, it can.
My favorite thing is to hear Jack talk to his kids whenever they're getting on his nerves. Oh, man, it sounds so bad, but it is great.
The thing is, it doesn't really phase them much because
No,
they
because you
know
don't mean it. You don't mean
no,
anything you say, and
and they
like
know it. It's a lot of empty threats and stuff, and they know it. But, um, but it's the same. It's the exact
I'll
same.
kick you, stuff like that. Like that, it's a lot more elaborately said than that.
It is.
It's great.
Like, Beverly still talks about the time I said, "I love you with my whole heart, but I'm about to whoop you with my whole belt."
Mm. I
So,
think that's funny because like I was sitting there thinking like the way that you like get onto your kids is very much like how a black mom would get onto her
well,
kids.
yeah, and I think that comes from my mother, who's not
Probably, yeah.
not black, but she is very much.
And I could imagine that a lot of these things that you say, which is why I said this, would be very similar to crap that you say when you have road rage.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So yeah,
Um,
it's very much the same types of things, and it's witty, and it's quick. And I say it, and then Coney laughs.
Jack be
Um,
good at some witty banter. Um,
so
he's
it,
good at it.
but it's driven by play on words, driven by people who can't drive. So you know, but I think with a lot of people. I think everybody has that pet peeve to a degree
I
where
don't really have that.
not necessarily that you have road rage, but the people,
I mean,
if they are
I'd
cut
be
you
like,
off,
what's going on? Like, what is taking so long? I mean, obviously
it,
that kind of thing, but
yeah. And it's that for me. It's not necessarily one of my highest. I can be pretty patient driving unless I'm trying to get somewhere or something like that.
I can be
But,
patient unless I'm not.
that's how it works.
Oh,
But typically it just kind of depends on where I'm going, what I need to get to or whatever.
yeah.
But I don't like for people to pull out in front of me just to freaking go slow when there's
Yeah.
nobody behind me. Or they'll pull out in front of me and then turn. And I'm like, you could have waited for me to get past. If you're just going to go right down this road and turn, you're going to turn in front of me and then turn again. Why? Why are you going to do
Yeah.
that?
Thanks, who you're saying.
It's those type of situations. Okay, your turn.
I can't stand when somebody tries to tell me what to do when they have no authority over me at all.
Mm.
Like it kind of awakens something in me that
Homosexuality.
yeah, whatever. You better not tell me what to do. I'll try to do something to you. I don't know.
You was
Um,
going to jump somewhere that you didn't feel like you could say.
I absolutely was.
I know. And then you thought better of it.
I
And I
did.
wish you didn't.
Oh, but no,
Don't be a dick or I'll suck your dick.
no, that's close to what I was gonna say. Um, but
Oh, and you would.
oh god. Anyways, I think it's what's funny about that, what you just did is it is painfully obvious which friend you are in the relationship when it comes to like the best friends on a TV show.
Yeah.
Like you're I'm trying to think of a good comparison. Um, but so anyways, um I used to when I worked full time for a church it was a pretty big staff. It was like 20 people. Um, I know that's not like big in comparison to a lot of mega churches, but I mean, it was a 2,500, 3,000 person attended church. But there was a girl on staff and I actually ended up being pretty good friends with her, but, um, she was real bad about ordering me around.
Mm.
And she had no like position of like she was not a supervisor. She was not she had no pull to tell me what to do. And it would just I would argue with her so much. I don't like being micromanaged anyway. That's another pet peeve. Like I don't like just being told what to do.
Yeah.
Anyway. Even by by people who are my boss. I don't like people just be like, do this and do this without question. I don't like that. I generally tend to have a tendency to question things that I'm asked to do, especially if I don't understand why I'm doing them or see like the benefit of that. Um, And but she would just be like, do this, do that, and do this. And I'll be like, I don't think that's the way it needs to go. Just do it. I'm like, no. And then we'd argue. And I just cannot stand it. I'm just like, and it came down to like a matter of personalities, to a degree. I can't remember. It's not Myers-Briggs. It was a different personality test.
Is
They
it
like separate.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
I was trying to remember what they're called. Is it what was it like disc and all that?
Disc. It was disc. Yeah.
Okay.
Like we had taken a disc test, and we both kind of had like we're on like the D side of the D. I don't know why I started laughing.
She was on your D.
No, not at all. Not even. Please no. But
She was ordering you around. She was telling you what she liked.
she that was my strongest trait. Dominant was my strongest trait, but it wasn't like super high up there. It was my highest trait, but it was like she was really high up there. And I think that's one reason we clashed, because I don't like being told what to do. I like guiding people to do things. I don't like just being like, do this, do that, do this, but I like to direct people into going into the direction that I want them to do. It sounds manipulative, but you know what I'm talking about. Like I like to
So you don't want
collaborate.
people to tell you what to do, but you want to tell them what to do.
Not that's not what I said.
That's what I heard.
I like to work with people more so in partnership and help guide rather than just be my way is my way is the way. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's our relationship. Like, we will work on something together. And if I'm like, I think this is the best thing, I'll tell you all my reasons. And you'll be like, a lot of times you'll heed that. Other times you'll be like, I like my way better. And we compromise.
Yeah.
And
We've also gotten into some heated arguments.
we have gotten into some heated arguments. Those are the times that least compromise. But
Project dying.
And the project dying
Very
that hasn't led
weird.
to projects dying as much, but
That's what I'm saying. It's rare, but it has.
But I mean, you get two really strong-willed people together. A lot of times, like somebody's just gonna like, okay, I'm not gonna win this fight, so I'm just gonna let him have what he wants, kind of thing.
And we are a lot alike in that, and we're brothers more than friends, so we're very comfortable with just telling each other how we feel about stuff. So
yeah. But I don't get ordered around, like on you, like from you ever. I remember there was one time, and it didn't really feel like you were trying to. It didn't really feel like this at all. But we were in a fight. We were driving from somewhere. We were fighting for some reason. I don't remember why. But I ended up going a different way than you, and it bothered you. And
I don't remember this.
I can't even remember why we fought while we were fighting. But you're like, it felt like you went that other way to. We were going to your house.
Oh.
But you said it felt like you were going that way to defy me. And I remember feeling extremely angry that you said defied. Like you had some way to tell me what to do or have assert your will over me. And I was like, that's not what he means. It's not what he means. We were young. This was like high school.
I meant just to go against. You were just trying to
that's what you meant. Skin. But because that felt like that term felt like some sort of authoritative position. It bothered the crap out of me. Yeah. But yeah, but this kind of goes into other things too. Like when I worked at this roofing company, I had a boss change. Like, so I had one boss, she left the company, another came, and she micromanaged me so much.
That was your favorite boss.
Yeah. And I remember, I mean, I'm by profession, I'm a video production guy. So like I would edit these videos that are going to be commercials or whatever, and they would be great. And I expect a little bit of feedback, but she would come in there and be like, no, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this. And I'm like, I have to listen to her because she's my boss and I freaking hate this. But she would come into the room. I would have presented to stuff to her, and she would come in the room, and everything that I did, she'd stand behind me and redo it all. I cannot tell you how much that bothered me. Like it was like it had to be like her vision, and
Mm.
God, oh, that bothered me so much. Mm. That one might be the one that the thing that bothered me the most in this entire list tonight. All right, you got one more?
Yeah.
Okay.
I hate liars. I can't stand to be lied to. Hurt my feelings with the truth. Don't try to spare my feelings with a lie. Don't tell me lies. I can't stand a lie. You know that. And this is always, and this probably goes back to my mom too, because I remember my mom being like, I can't stand a lie. I can't stand a lie. Um, which is why I think I am typically so brutally honest. And to the point where if I lie, I can almost name every lie I've done because I don't, because it means there's a reason, and I can typically be like, but I can be good at lying, but it's not something I enjoy doing. I cannot, because I value
Well,
truth.
somebody enjoys lying. They have a
You know,
huge
well,
issue. I mean, I think everybody lies from time to time, but like, it's not a bad pet peeve to have at all.
I,
Because like, um, I think for me, most lies come at like very small things, like
yeah,
very small things. Like, I don't, I don't feel like fully explaining a scenario, so I'll simplify it. So it's not true. It's not the truth, but it's also not far from the truth, if that makes
mm.
sense. Um, but I have to do that with my parents sometimes, just because it's easier.
I, I think there's a difference too. I think I know what you mean. You're not telling the whole truth, but you can also not tell the whole truth, but you're not necessarily lying either.
I think
You know what I mean?
I want. I don't know if this is a hill that I'll die on, but I think like lies that would cause damage are really the lies biblically that matter the most. Like, if I'm like, if I tell a little white lie that's like, "Did you have water today?" Oh yeah. I don't know that that matters that much in the grand scheme of the world or eternity. But if it's like I've got a gambling problem and
Well, it's just,
you see what I'm saying? Now,
yeah,
I
but
think
if you're
those could be
more, if you,
doorways
I
to
was gonna say, you get more comfortable with smaller things
yes.
and then you'll get more
Yeah.
comfortable with larger. And
I agree
it's a
with
good
that.
practice to just not
But I
have
don't
that.
know if like I don't know. Like I've heard like again, not a hill that I'll die on, and I also don't not like I don't know that I believe that. It's a wonder like that I have more so than anything. Like, is this possible? Biblically, I mean, it just says don't lie. Um, but what constitutes that exactly? I mean, like we had a whole thing on Santa Claus and how we talk about Santa Claus, and technically that's a lie.
Mhm.
Um, technically,
Yeah,
technically,
but usually you end up telling them the truth, and it's
sure. Which I
not,
just
it's
found out that my daughter doesn't believe in Santa Claus anymore.
really,
Yeah.
she's young.
So I don't know if it's like one of those things that'll stick,
Yeah.
but I think it's like she's heard kids at school be like, "No, Santa Claus isn't real."
Well, our daughter has said things that made us think that maybe she doesn't. I know Coney doesn't. He's aged out.
Well, yeah.
But Bunny has she said some things too. So
I mean,
maybe
she's only a year away from whenever I stopped believing in Santa Claus.
who? Your daughter
Bunny,
or
no,
Bunny?
Bunny.
Um, and so, she has said things that, she'll be like, Santa Claus not real. Almost like she's testing us to try to see.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
so
again, like,
I don't know.
like, I just wonder, is the biblical like don't lie thing? I agree with you on the like getting comfortable with white lies leads to bigger lies. I definitely agree with that. But I do wonder if like is that more so talking like, hey, you got a gambling problem and you spent like your savings on gambling and then you lie about where that went or something like that. Somebody
Yeah.
stole like like or you have a drug problem, you promise you'll never do it again, you do it again, and you lie about doing it again. Those kinds of things. Like
I understand where you're coming
I'm
from,
not. It's just it's a thought.
but and we'll get off of this because this is not really where we're going with. It's not our intention for this episode, but everywhere else, Jesus backs it up with going a little further, like you don't murder. So also
Don't think about murdering. Yeah,
don't hate people in your heart.
yeah.
Um,
Don't commit
you know,
adultery. And if you lust, you committed
yeah,
adultery.
right.
No, I
So
totally understand.
so
Um,
don't lie. It would be instead of setting the bar,
it's a good.
further
I mean,
down. I think it'd be the other way.
whether or not that there's validity to that thought, um, it's still good practice just to not.
Yeah.
Um, but but I think all that being said, the reason the reason for your pet peeve is because it is like offensive to be lied to.
Yeah.
And um and a lot of times whenever like those things aren't little white lies, they're like, oh, I didn't want to do something with you, so I just lied about it, which
Yeah.
makes it worse.
And if you will
Um
lie to me about a small thing, you'll
yeah,
lie about a big thing. And and you're right. It is a lot of times it is things like a lot of times it's people that can't that's kind of another pet peeve, but are not reliable. And because they don't want to fess up to something, they'll just lie to get out of whatever. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Um, and I had no, I'm thinking of people specifically that they, they'll say they're going to do something, but then they don't want to do it. So they'll make up some lie as to why they can't do it. Then you find out that was a lie, and you're like, so you lied. You
Are
lied
you
just to,
including grossly overstating something also?
yes, yeah,
Even though that thing may have actually done a thing, but maybe not as big.
yeah. I know who you're thinking
Um,
of.
and I've done that
You're
before.
debate. Are you
I've done that
debating on whether or
before.
not you
No,
want to
I
say that
was
one?
no, I'm not gonna say who that was. I have done that before, but most of the time that comes from a place of I'm more worried that it will actually get in the way more so than it's not really a lie. Whenever I'm like, this is going to be cutting it really close, so I just want to play it safe. So I'm just going to say this thing's in the way.
Yeah.
Um,
But
rather
the
than
person that you're thinking
post
of
post
is a
saying
little
it.
different
Yeah, like that was a scenario where they said something, and again that we don't know that they were. We're just suspicious that they made this
because
up.
we know the person.
But we're not gonna tell what it is. But that was also said after the fact too. Like
Well,
it wasn't said like
it depends on which scenario because there were more than one scenario
I'm talking about when we all got together.
with the
to
Fire
s- to see something.
with the fires. Oh no, I'm thinking about the other time when smoke
Oh,
was.
yeah.
So this is an occurrence. This is a regular occurrence with this person. It's happened more than
It's
these two
happened.
times
It's
too.
happened a couple times, yeah. I can only think of two. But
There was another time other than the that was a game one that was other than that time too. So
um
s-
but also I'll say this too, scenarios like that, some people really do believe that, like believe the
sure,
scenario. Um
that goes back to
and
being stupid. I'm just kidding.
uh I knew this was another person I worked at church with. He would make stuff up and he would believe it. You know who I'm talking about. You met him a
Yeah.
couple times.
Oh yeah, because we're best friends. Remember
um
that was what he believed.
I don't know how, I don't know how,
Showed up at my work asking for me like, and I was like, "Who is this?"
but I can't remember anything specific, but I remember like trying to test him on some things. Like I'd prod about it, and I realized like, oh, he believes this. He believes this
Yeah.
scenario. And it's just kind of like, I don't know how to help that. Um,
I had an aunt
I
that they said she lied so much that she believed her own lies.
think it's more common than you'd think. Um, anyways, okay, I got another one. This one is going to sound like topics for other podcasts, but this is something that really bothers me, and I'll use an example. So this kind of gets into our nerd culture stuff. Not just that, but it a lot of times comes from that. So when you have an existing IP, something that like has a fandom around it, and um we're talking like decades of legacy about this thing. People have loved these properties for years, and then you change something about a character or part of the lore that makes it fundamentally different.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. And like,
I mean, that kind of goes back to our bad adaptations.
yeah, it is, and but it's not just a matter of adaptations. Like so my example is
Iceman.
it is Iceman. It is
I knew it.
Iceman.
I knew
Um,
it.
um,
We've been friends for way too long.
so Jack and I, like we loosely followed comics, but we've always loved comics, but it's such an expensive hobby that we never like extensively followed them.
We would go
I did for a time.
we would
Um,
go to the comic book store. We would go to the comic book store just to read the comics because we couldn't really afford to
and we do a
to
lot of like online research and like read through like a lot of like character biographies and follow up on a lot of stuff that we weren't able to watch. I mean, and I eventually started buying comics and reading comics, but the thing about comics is that you can't just know everything from the beginning because it's been
yeah
going on for so long. And
yeah
so here's the thing. Jack and I were huge X-Men fans. Like
hmm
they were like our favorites. I think they might still be some of your favorites.
they are.
But this ruined it for me. Like it ruined X-Men for me. And I know that's stupid, but like I don't know, it kind of gradually happened whenever this particular thing happened. But so I remember also I used to collect the cards. We had like they used to
Yeah,
do like comic book X-Men collectible
we
cards.
both used to do that. Yeah.
And so we really got into comics and superheroes and particularly X-Men in high school and college. Um And I started actually following the comics. I was buying them and following along. And I know apparently they've had some of the best X-Men runs at like after I stopped caring about the X-Men. But I found a lot of like connection with the character Iceman. We didn't have similar personalities per se, but we had similar struggles. Like I always wanted to be in a relationship, and I
And
never
you
found
still do.
myself. Well, I am in a relationship. Oh, you're
No,
talking about, no, you're talking about, oh, the struggle. Yeah, no, absolutely. You'll understand that joke when I finish the story if you don't know where it's going. Um, like his struggle with girls was something I really identified with because I never, it wasn't that I had an issue like having girls like me, but I was either not interested in those girls or I had a hard time finding a girl that like felt the same way. And I would always get really serious really quickly in relationships, especially in high school. Um, and I found that in that character, and it was a way that I really connected to that character. Not to mention, freaking, I still think he may have the coolest powers in the X-Men universe because it goes way further than just making ice. But so fast forward probably about 7 years after college, maybe a little less than that. They started doing a uh, a run in X-Men called All New X-Men. And what was happening was Beast was forming a secondary mutation that was started killing. I think it was a third mutation that started to kill him. So he goes back in time and he brings back the original five X-Men to the future, which I don't know how this didn't cause like alternate
some kind
timelines
of
and
a
stuff like
rift.
that.
Yeah.
But it didn't. And as far as I'm aware, they're still in the present, not in the past. Like the younger versions of themselves. They may not be, but last time I checked they were. Um and he wanted to bring them in to help figure out his third mutation to help save him or whatever. That was a part of it. There was more to it than that. But like so this goes on and they're getting integrated into present day and Jean Grey is really she's a lot less likable in this like for some reason even though she's supposed to be the same person. But there's a moment whenever Iceman, who this is how he always was like talking to I don't remember, it might have been Beast, might have been Angel about like going and trying to like uh find some girls to hang out with and hit on and that kind of stuff. And Jean comes in and she's like, Iceman, why are you like Bobby, which his name is Bobby. Bobby, why are you acting like that? And he's like, what are you talking about? He's like, why are you acting like this about girls? And he's like, I don't know what she's talking about. And she's like, Bobby, you're gay. Um,
And then he was just like, "Yep."
and then he the panels like he's like evasive and then gets embarrassed and then forms an ice wall between the two of them. Um, and yeah, so that is how we find out that this was like from the past, Bobby, by the way. Um, and he confirms that he's gay, but everybody's like, maybe it's just something happened to the past, Bobby. Whenever he came to the present, and that it changed him, and he decided to kind of go down that path because he saw people doing that. But then present Bobby, who was dating Kitty Pryde in the comics, they're like, "Nah, you're gay too." And I
Yeah.
think he actually
Which
got married to another character in the
which
comics.
even if okay, that's a crazy story anyway, but how was that her place to out him?
Well, she just outed him to him.
Oh,
There wasn't anybody else around.
I got you.
Because I think she like pulled him aside. I can't remember exactly because um that was the last one I read. Um, but whenever that happened, because I like had connected and found my own struggles in Bobby Drake, like for so long, it felt like the writers were like, "You're gay," to me. I know that's not what was intended, but this was a beloved character. Bobby Drake was created in the 60s.
Yeah.
So we were going on like 60, 70 years of legacy with this character. And all of a sudden they're like, oh no, he's gay. Um, him being in love with Lorna Dane, thrown out the freaking door. It meant nothing. It meant nothing. The love triangle between her, him, and Alex Summers,
Where
totally
where she
invalid.
like she loved it wasn't him liking
There was
Alex.
love triangles. Oh, it wasn't him. No, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not where I
I'm
thought you were
clarifying.
going.
No. I'm clarifying for anybody who doesn't know who's listening.
There's a
Lorna had
pu-
a love triangle, but where she liked Bobby and she liked Alex.
yeah,
Uh,
mainly Alex.
Alex
Um,
Summers is Scott Summers, Cyclops' brother.
younger brother,
Yeah,
not older brother.
in the movies they flop that
Um,
around.
but
Um,
he's a better character than Cyclops is too. But
yeah,
so like that was decades of that kind of thing. Like decades of Polaris going between Havoc and which that was his code name, Havoc and Iceman. Whenever she'd get jaded by Havoc, she'd run to get validation from Iceman, and that caused all this trauma with Iceman and Iceman being the first person to really find her and all like he's how she was introduced in the comics. He saved her from getting hit by a car because he was paying attention to her. And from then on, he was like in love with her. And now it's just like, oh no, no. I was just trying to make sure nobody knew that I like penis. Um, like,
really, he liked Alex.
and maybe they've done that. Maybe that was,
I don't know.
who knows? I don't read it anymore. And it's not because of having gay characters. I've said this a million times. I think I've said it on here. There's a character in X-Men named North Star. He's been gay for forever. And
Yeah.
and he's a great character. But don't take a character who has had a legacy of like complex relationship struggles and be like, "Oh, I see this. He struggles with girls." That can mean he's really gay. Because he's been covering up this whole time. It's bad writing for one, but I know people praise it. And I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Like, it doesn't make any sense because this is supposed to be the same character, a legacy of this character. If um let's take the fundamentals of another character that people love. I mean, let's take Cyclops. Cyclops is heterosexual, has had this whole thing with Wolverine and Jean Grey, loves Jean Grey. Jean Grey dies, and then he forms a relationship with Emma Frost, and then Jean Grey comes back and dies again, and comes back, dies again, and blah blah blah. If you made Scott Summers gay, how pissed would people be because of everything that happened with Jean and
Or
Wolverine and
flip that around, because you mentioned North Star.
oh, make
Jean
him straight?
Paul. Yeah,
Yeah.
if all that time he had been, he's been gay, he's married a man and everything, and then all of a sudden, Jean Grey comes to him, and she's like, why are you acting like that? You're straight."
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I had somebody tell me I was gay and I thought I had to stay gay. So this
I
has all
mean,
been a facade. Um, that's how it sounds. No. Um,
he's
like
apparently
it's who that's who that
sounds
character
like
was.
Snagglepuss.
Yeah, it does. It doesn't make sense to change it. He's been gay for decades. Like it doesn't
I,
make sense to
he,
change it.
and that's really, I mean, honestly, had she said that to him, that's what he should have said was, I beg to differ. I'm a differ
I'm a
baker.
different bigger. Um, but like, I mean, it's stuff like this, like why people are so upset with what they've done with Star Wars. Like, Star Wars had this established thing, and then they did the Acolyte. I know you haven't seen the Acolyte, but the Acolyte tried to come in, and
I didn't want to.
they shouldn't. It's terrible. And they tried to do this thing where they made it unclear whether or not the Sith were bad or the Jedi were bad. And it's been since the 70s. The Jedi were the good people, were the good ones, and the Sith were evil. And it's
Yeah.
always been the case. And they want to be like, it's really a matter of perspective. No, it's not. George Lucas straight up said the Sith are evil.
Yeah.
They've always been evil.
Nobody considers that canon from what I've
Except for Leslie Headland. Did you know that
Well,
Leslie Headland said that R2D2 was a lesbian?
what? A droid that doesn't
Yeah.
have any body parts?
She didn't really. I think it was more like I just picture R2 as a
R2D2 is
lesbian,
also
referred to
R2D2
as a guy, as a boy.
with male, yeah.
Yeah, because like Anakin says, like no loose cog jokes. He's trying. He. They call R2 a he.
do.
They call C3PO a
All
he,
throughout.
even though technically they don't have gender, like they don't have genders at all, but they are like delegated with genders. And don't mess with things that have been established and people love, like that fundamentally change things. Don't don't come in and make there be force witches that can use the force to immaculately conceive babies. That happens in the Acolyte.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. The Acolyte is so you've got Jedi looking at this planet that has like some sort of like force anomalies. I can't remember what they call it. But they find out there's this coven of witches who are able to tap into the force. And the leader of the witches and another of the witches are lesbians together, and they use the force to make one of them carry twins.
Okay. They've lost when
Yeah.
Disney took over they lost their way a lot of with what they were trying to do. I don't know. But hold on,
So
we'll move from there real quick, and I got another one. Um you ready for this one?
let's do it.
Hypochondria.
That's funny because I'm a bit of a hypochondriac.
A bit. Um it's not, I wouldn't put it as one of my highest ones, but it I think people that can be over dramatic at times can also just get under my skin, and sometimes it feels the same. Like,
How am I your best friend? You don't feel like I get over dramatic with it though. Probably. I just get worried. I don't
you
flaunt the over
have
dramatic.
not in a flaunting
I think
way,
that's what we're talking about. We're not talking
but
about actually being worried. We're talking about
the one that bothered me the most with you was over a year ago.
yeah.
Uh, and you were super super worried.
I was also super sick.
You were, but
Um,
it was hard to like talk to you
well, I
and
was
get.
essentially having I was living in anxiety. I was worried that that I had leukemia essentially. And there was a basis in that. It wasn't unfounded. It wasn't like
Well, you jumped to the worst case scenario.
I do that. I do that. but I was sitting
And
in limbo with it,
you had
and
shut life down
yeah,
at that
yeah,
point.
it was such an unexpected thing. And I was so sick, so like it just made it worse. Like if I don't know, I just
But
yeah, I did not handle it well.
my dad can be a bit of a hypochondriac. Not to that same degree, but he a lot of times and my mom would always be like, if somebody's got something, your daddy's gonna get it. And it's he is that way. My mother-in-law is a hypochondriac. What's weird about her is she ends up with a lot of stuff. She actually ends up with a lot of stuff. But hers is like she's got the worst of the worst. She always acts like it's the worst of the worst. And so it can be
Do
frustrating.
they like, does there, like, whenever you experience it, is it more so that it does end up imposing on other people a lot too?
Yeah, because if you think you're sick, whatever. If you think you're sick all the time, it's I think kind of how you were saying about sitting on the other same side of the booth is like it's kind of eye roll. I'm like a lot of times I'll just be like, that's yeah, that's your life, but at the same time, it uh, y- sometimes a lot of times you're making a big deal. Not you specifically. I'm saying this as a general
Oh yeah, I took it as a
for
general.
hypochondriacs. You're making a big deal out of nothing. You're calling out of work when you don't necessarily need to call out of work. You might have a cold, and yet you're treating it like it's the flu. Because I've seen people do that and be like,
Because they
"Oh, I'm just,
really think that it's the flu.
I guess I'm just so sick. I'm just," and I'm like, "You sneezed. Wipe your nose and get back to work because everybody's, it's cold season." Um, but on the flip side, I know that I am the opposite.
You are the
I
opposite.
can be very, very, very sick and will not believe that I'm sick.
Your mom's like that too, though.
Yeah, she is. Um, and now that she's older, she's had to be a lot more careful, and she's had to kind of realize that she has things that she didn't necessarily, and she goes to the doctor a lot more. I hate going to the doctor. But I know you don't necessarily hate going to the doctor. You'll be like, I had to go to the doctor because I
I
just
don't like
felt
going
like
to the
this
doctor.
is, well, you go a lot.
Not really.
Well, you go a
I've
lot more
gone.
than I
I
do.
went twice recently, but
But you'll be like,
that was the first time I'd been to the doctor's in 2 years. It was 2 years ago since I had pneumonia. First time I've been to the doctor since then.
I thought this past winter was a year ago.
It's 2 years.
Oh,
Winter of 2023.
hmm.
We're old.
Well, no, it was because I remember being in a specific house at that time, but I'm trying to remember when I got in that house. Anyway, um, it was at that house, but was I already in that house at the winter of 2023? Because that's when I made you the soup for the first time, I think. Anyway,
It
that's
was. Well, that was before I realized how sick I was. It was whenever you were in that house though.
yeah.
hmm
Anyway,
Um,
but so yeah, that hypochondria, the overstatement of an illness, or thinking that you have an illness that you don't have, or jumping straight to the worst case scenario. But you also know that a lot of times I'm like, don't worry until you know you got something to worry about.
yeah. And also,
But I also know that's sometimes just how y'all.
Thinking that you got COVID and you're not going to be able to leave a country is a lot different than being told, "Hey, um, your white blood cell count's supposed to be going down, but it's gone up,
So
and
that's you
I'm going
might
to
as
send
well
you to a hematologist."
you might as
Uh,
well address that.
so
That was because of, but well, yours was because you had pneumonia though, and
well, yeah, in hindsight, looking back on it, I had pneumonia for a lot longer than I realized I had it.
you had walking pneumonia.
I think that I probably had walking pneumonia, and then it just turned full fledged into
Because
double pneumonia.
you ended up that way. Coney ended up essentially catching that, and
Yeah.
that's it had to be
Um,
from you because
that's the
nobody else
only
had
person
it.
it could have been.
Yeah,
And I had gone to urgent care because like I was trying to knock it out, but they were like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong. Your lungs sound fine." And then I started like coughing up brown mucus, and I finally went to the doctor. Went to the doctor, not for
not
that.
not doo doo mucus.
To do mucus gross. I went to the doctor because I coughed so hard that I pulled a muscle in my back and it hurt so bad. And I was like, "You got to do something." And he's like, "I'm not worried about your back. I'm worried about you having pneumonia." I'm like, "I'm worried about my back."
My sister in law coughed so hard one time she
Is
broke a rib. Um,
that for real?
yeah,
Wow.
but she's also got some health issues
Like brittle bones?
like lupus.
Oh.
Um, but you might as well go ahead and tell the story that you were comparing that to,
Let's
which is
just expedite it. Like you were on a mission trip overseas with your church, and you and another person got
Pemberley. We'll just mention her again.
you got COVID while
This
you were
is how
there,
this is
and
how we fell
then
out.
and then you you apparently, like, from the description, it seemed like you were doing a lot worse than she was because you passed out.
I did
Um
pass out.
and but apparently she had talked to her parents. Her parents were worried that because she had COVID, they wouldn't let her come back home, and she freaked out. And then Jill got annoyed at her and told her that she essentially told her in so many words that she is over the top and she can't handle her. And then she can't handle her. She needs to work on that. And then that was like, hey,
Yeah.
friendship ending. Um,
Yeah.
but so like that was a very,
Which Jill was very
very like reductive
Jill
of like to
Jill was the nurse on our trip. She was taking care of everybody. So she and I had gotten sick, and we had some other people that we were trying to keep from getting sick because they had because it was COVID, and some of those people had what's it called, like the not neurodivergent. What's it called when you the ones that are really not supposed to get COVID because they have health issues.
comorbidities. Not
Like
co-
we
no.
have no, like we had one girl who has
Oh, oh,
cancer.
oh, 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 oh.
Auto
Mm, uh, uh,
autoimmune immune
autoimmune disease
immune deficient whatever
deficiencies. Yeah,
whatever they are.
like
We had one girl that's got cancer.
rheumatoid
She'll never be
arthritis or
completely without cancer. She was on the trip with us. She ended up catching it. Um, we had a man that was 80 years old. We had some people that we also had another guy who did have like a stomach issue that happened. I don't know if he had like a stomach bug or what
yeah.
happened, but all this was going on. Jill was our nurse and taking care of everybody. This Pemberley over like kept um, freaking out about everything that she was going to get left behind and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, we
I
can't
mean,
just
if you
leave
get
you.
left
You have
behind,
to
I'm gonna get
leave
left
me.
behind also.
That's what I told her. I was like, I would have to get left too. I have it too.
You
And
won't be alone.
I had passed out. I ended up, um, essentially, I don't know if I willed myself to get better, but I sat my 24 hours out and went back to doing missions. She did not.
Um,
Anyway, but all because that ended up causing our friendship. But her she was very much that way. Like was so afraid that she was going to be sick, and then she had created all these scenarios in her head that that were going to happen, that didn't happen, that were not going to happen, couldn't happen. And the guy over our trip even checked and made sure that that wasn't even going to an issue. They couldn't hold you in the country, and they couldn't
Yeah.
keep you from flying from at this point.
That's not something that stuff like that isn't something that I ever consider being worried about. It's like, oh, that'll suck.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. I mean, what are they going to do? Keep me in this country? I didn't break the law. Like, I'm not going to go to jail. um, and generally, for me, I get worried about having something that is like the worst case scenario thing that would happen
Yeah.
simply because I can't control it. I've got no control in that. There's nothing I can do about it. And so like sicknesses, like what I would consider like sick, like you catch
And
a cold, you catch
I
something,
guess
that stuff
I'm the other
doesn't bother
way.
me.
I guess I'm the other way around. I'm like, if I've got
If
it,
I
I've
can't
got it,
control
and
about, I can't
I
control it,
can't
I can't do
control it.
anything about it,
Yeah.
which I understand too. But COVID didn't really scare me ever.
I won't say it scared me.
Well, you
You
had
know,
it like
you know,
before anybody else. Like you, I'm pretty positive that you
no,
had it.
that the doctors have have told me
Like
that's what that was.
it has to
We
be.
didn't know what
Yeah.
it was, and
We thought you were gonna die.
yeah, we did. I thought I was gonna die, and to the point where I wasn't scared. I called Jill to my bedside, and I was like, "Listen, they can't figure out what I've got." Mind you, this was in 2019, in
At
like
the end of it.
October.
Yeah,
It
right.
was
Like,
like in
yeah.
October of 2019. It
So
was
before it was definitely before like any other.
before they knew what it was happening,
Mm-hmm.
and had chills, and I would shake the bed, and then it would turn, and I would sweat and drench the whole bed. Um, I looked like death. We had an event at our church. They had taken pictures of me, would not post them because they said you look like death. You look like you're and so but I
Imagine how many
went.
people you gave it to.
um, nobody got it right after that, but it was a big event. But I sat away from everybody, not even knowing what I had, but trying to just be away, because I knew I was sick, but I had to be there, because I'd planned the event.
Mm.
Um, but we didn't know what I had. We didn't know what the severity of it. They told me that they thought I had a form of mono. Anyway,
I remember that.
I it was a rare form, but it didn't even completely add up with what they said. They told me that at the time. So they didn't know what I had. They've later said that's what you had. You had COVID. You had one of the early bad cases of COVID. Thought I was going to die. Called her to my bedside, and I said, "Listen, if I die, this is what we want. I want you to do. I want you to move back home. You can move in with your parents for a little while until you can get on your feet, get you another job. Because we were away from home at the time. We were living 4 hours away, and I was like, get home, take the kids, get a job, do this, and this, sell my car so that you only have one car payment. You only, I literally had laid this out. I never was afraid that I was going to die. I was just okay with dying if that was the case. So I don't know.
My father-in-law did die from it. And we could say, well, he didn't really die from it because technically he died from pneumonia. But if he didn't have,
After that he had gotten
yeah, he,
after.
yeah, he died because of COVID. Like COVID is the reason that he had the things that happened. I
'Cause
think saying that
he had like
he,
complications after COVID, right? Or because of
so like
COVID.
I think the COVID was out of his system at that point.
Yeah.
but it had done so much damage and caused the pneumonia.
Partially, I think part of it too is because they put them on a respirator, and we know that when they started putting them on respirators, people died.
But also they were giving people, well, we found this out recently. They discovered that doctors were giving medicines that were reducing immunity at the time because that's
Yeah,
what they thought
yeah.
to treat it with. And so
So I don't like. I know it was because he got COVID, but I don't blame the COVID itself so much as some of the other
I mean, but we also know COVID
things
was
that happened.
significantly worse then than it is now.
Yeah,
So much worse.
I
But
mean it's like a cold now.
it's like a cold now. I mean,
They actually said
It's worse than a cold. It
it.
feels
No,
worse than a cold.
literally, the doctor like last year, I think it was, or 2 years ago maybe. The doctors were like, flu's worse um than COVID is now. COVID is like
I
the
mean, I
cold.
believe that flu is
It's the
worse than
same
COVID.
symptoms, and it's
But
gonna come around every year.
it's I've had COVID 3 times. Um, the last time I had it was the worst if I felt. The first time I had it, I had a fever, but I didn't really feel like super terrible. Second time I had it, it was a little worse. And then that last time, it lasted for like a day. But the day that, at least the symptoms, the day that I had it, I felt awful. I felt so bad. And it was not even nowhere near comparable to a cold, like not even close. But I know that the flu, you feel like that for a lot longer.
Yeah,
Um, and so like the next day, it was already starting to go away. But I thought I had the flu when I first got sick with it last year. But I tested negative for it. I was like, what the heck? And I came home and I took a COVID test and it was positive. I was like, oh, okay, well that makes more sense. But I was never really scared of COVID, like for me. I was more
yeah,
scared when my mom or dad got it.
yeah,
Um because I mean they were in their early 70s, late 60s. Um and that put them higher at risk because of how old they were.
yeah,
And my mom's health had been declining and dad got it and he barely acted sick.
yeah,
Um but also know whenever Doe's parents um they got it at the same time from the same place.
yeah.
And Doe's mom barely felt sick, but
Mm,
her dad went to the hospital and never came out. And
mm.
wish we could go back in time and tell them, make them walk around, keep them off the respirator, don't give them steroids.
Well,
Um,
and when the next time that I got it, so when my mother got it, I remember her being like, "I'm gonna walk," because they told me I need to walk around. The next time that I got it, my mom was like, "You need to get up and walk around." And Jill, I think, had gotten it, and she was like, "Make sure she gets up and walks it off," and
mhm.
all that kind of stuff. So,
But I
do
think
you have?
also we have a lot more immunity to it now too.
We've been talking for a while. So, do you want to do
Yeah.
some like rapid fire ones? So whether they're yours or just ones we know of.
I mean, I I don't really have any more.
Uh, well, I was thinking like so.
We could just
So
I got one. I'm sure
like
I'll think of some.
Tom does not like to be interrupted or spoken over
It is, yeah. He will see his face change.
completely, and then you can't get it out of him. He's like,
Nope.
The moment's
Moment's
passed."
passed. We
I love Tom. I love Tom.
but
So you had another one.
okay. This one's stupid, but it is a pet peeve. So there's a reason I don't like gospel music. And the reason I don't like
Because you
gospel
don't
music
love
is because
Jesus.
yeah, absolutely. No, I don't like the style of gospel music because of throwing like random uh like chords of like colorful chords in there, like the whole, it's called adding color to it musically. And
Racist.
yes, that's why I was trying to figure out a different way to say it. But like throwing a lot of like flat minor 7 chords or like those kinds of things randomly in there when they don't really fit well. And it draws attention to the music. I hate that
Like a
because
lot of runs and stuff too.
not just, well, runs
Because
will be
let's be
fine
honest,
if
runs can be fine, but sometimes they can be overdone,
they can
especially
be.
in
Yeah.
a lot of gospel.
It depends on like how often you're doing it. Is it supposed to just be showing off? Um, a lot of times in gospel too, they'll have like the worship leader, and the worship leader get up there and they'll sing for just a little bit, and then all they'll do is sit there and just say, "Oh, he came and he saved me," and then the
Yeah,
choir is carrying the melody. I kind of
yeah,
like, and that's all they do. They don't
yeah.
sing. They're not the ones that are carrying the majority of the song.
It's a very particular type
Yeah, and
of style.
I can't help it. I love R&B style. It's like R&B chords on the guitar and piano. I love the way that sounds. Freaking love it. But you put stuff like that in worship music, it distracts me for some reason. And it feels like I am paying attention to the music more so than what I'm supposed to be singing about.
Um,
That's just me personally.
so moving on. Beverly said she can't stand if you tell her to do something she's already about to do, or she's already doing. I think I know what she means. Um, like there's been times when Jill be like, "Will you wash the dishes?" And I was already going to wash the dishes, or I was in the process of washing the dishes. Like if she calls me like, "Will you wash it?" I'm already doing that. Um,
How's she supposed to know if you haven't started yet, though? If it's the time that you haven't started?
I'm not saying that she is supposed to know, but I'm just going off. I don't know if that's what Beverly means, but I know that it can take the and I
Is it?
think I
I
know
wonder
that
if
this is
it's.
a thing because I've actually seen other like people who like content creators and stuff make this joke where
Oh,
they were already going to do it and then somebody's like do it and it just takes it away. You don't want to do it then because they told you to do it.
I wonder
But
if it also feels like being micromanaged.
and maybe
Um,
or just like I was going to do this. I was going to do this and surprise you, but now you've told me to do it, and
and
it's
I
taken
don't
away
feel like it.
and now it's taken away the surprise of it.
One thing that Doe and I will get in, not like serious arguments, but I can't stand uh to like not know something that's going, not so okay, like on Saturdays and there's nothing on the plate for Saturdays, and then I'll go take a shower and I'll come out and all of a sudden Doe's got a whole list of things that she's wanting to do.
Mm.
Drives me crazy.
Along with that, kind of along with that, I don't like bad communication. And I say the reason I say that is because sometimes I don't realize we have something going on because Jill has forgotten to tell me. Um, and now sometimes she'll be like, "I've told you this, and here's the proof," and it's just that I've forgotten because she's told me 2 months ago, and I don't,
Yeah, it does
But
happen.
and there's things that I'm also because I am ADHD, I will forget that crap. My mom jumps quickly on to the next thing. However, there are a lot of times that she thinks that she told me because she told me in her head,
Hmm.
and it didn't get told to me. So going along with that, I know yours is kind of different, but
It's similar.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they're similar. It's a pet peeve
And
of mine.
and I think everybody does it to a degree, but I do think like wives a lot of times will be like, "Oh, I said this and I do this all the time and you just don't listen to me." And
Yeah,
I do think there is a lot of those scenarios. Sometimes it is true.
sure.
Sometimes it is true, but a lot of those scenarios
Yeah. And
are
for me, I will tell you things when I think of it because I don't want it to be something that I forget because I know I'll forget.
yeah.
So I'll tell you things when I think of it. I know that she will not just because she's tired or just because or whatever. And then she'll be like, I told you that. No, you didn't. And she won't. Then be like, I thought I told you that. You didn't because you went to bed. And
Right.
that's fine. But, you know, so
Um
that's one.
But ooh, here's one. This was not something I realized that really offended me, but I guess it's really just kind of it makes sense. But I experienced a fandom shame last year.
Hmm.
I was on a job working on something, and there was just kind of like a down moment, and we were talking about musicals, and the girl that was kind of doing the stuff, I couldn't say anything
Oh
because she was the
yeah, I
client. You
forgot you
remember this?
taught you taught. Yeah.
And she was talking about like all her favorites. I think she's talked about how like she said something like anything goes or something like that was like her favorite. It was something like that. And then I was like, my favorite musical is probably Dear Evan Hansen. And she was like, oh, that's it wasn't like basic, but I was like,
That
oh,
was
that's
essentially what she was trying to say,
yeah,
though.
oh, that's a cliche or something like that. And I was like,
And
girl, you got Asperger's syndrome or something? Like,
if even if
you
it
don't
is,
just
if
say
that's your
that to people you don't know. Like,
even if that's your even if it is, if that's your favorite, it's your favorite. I mean, one of my favorites is Wicked because of the music in it
yeah.
and because of when I got into it. Uh, and
And as
that could
somebody
be,
that doesn't really like Wicked, I don't think that it's stupid that you like Wicked.
yeah. I
Like,
also fell in love with it because I loved Wizard of Oz growing up. But you know, and I realize that for our generation, especially, and now a new generation because of the movies, but that is a could be very much considered a cliche one.
hmm um, and I don't know. I just think it's weird to try to be a elitist in that kind of sense. Like, oh,
Yeah,
the thing that I like is better than what you like, and I'm gonna somehow make you feel small. Try to make you feel smaller
yeah.
because and so yeah.
Okay. When you okay, I don't like bad manners. Um, and you know this because I'd always be like, "Ooh, Burpee's rude," but more so like
Though you'll
when you hold
do
it.
it.
Yeah, more so like when you hold the door for somebody and they just walk past you and don't say thank you.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't have
yeah.
to do that crap for you.
Yeah.
I'm being nice. You be nice.
There's a level of cordialness that I think
Correct.
needs to be reciprocated. Like
Please and thank you. That's all we ask you for.
being from the South, like I'm not somebody that cares about yes ma'am, no ma'am. I know you like that. I don't care about that.
Not necessarily to me.
Um,
I say it though. I because I was raised that
I
way.
yeah, I've never said it. And my mom tries to say, "Oh, I taught you that," and I'm like, "No, you did not. You didn't tell me to say yes sir, yes ma'am."
My
Um,
parents did,
um,
but my oldest boy is not real good about it, but I try to teach him to because
well,
we are in the South.
my perspective on that is it's more about your attitude than it is about exactly what you say, and it's always been that way.
Sure.
And
Well, culturally, we do live in a place where that is
it's not as
considered to be
prominent anymore.
mm,
It's nowhere
not
near
quite,
as prominent, especially whenever we were kids. Like
but it is still a thing. Um,
from mostly like the boomer generation.
but it is
Um,
still a thing, whether it's
yeah,
boomers or even or Gen
but you don't really
X.
see many people get upset about it, like you used to hear, and like but uh, not saying thanks when you're opening a door. That's just being a jerk.
Yeah, that's just rude.
Um, and I don't, there's that's the biggest thing I think of, but there's plenty of other things like that. Saying thank you, well, whenever a server brings you your food, or um, and again, all of this
Oh,
has
that's
to do with
another
like
one. Being rude
your.
to wait
Oh,
staff.
I hate that. I can't stand being rude to wait staff. So much so that whenever I worry that somebody else is accidentally rude, I will like try to intercede and be like overly nice to the server.
Yeah.
um, and
We talked about this, I think, in our like growing up when that we talked
yeah.
in the episode of us growing up and stuff.
Um, I remember I had a friend who was pretty bad about it, and one time a server brought me food, and I was like, "Oh crap, it's wrong." And he was like, "What now?" And he started, and I was like, "No, no, no." He's like, "Well, if they did your food wrong, you got it." And I was like, "No, it's fine."
Yeah,
Like, and I'm like, for one,
that's
the
me.
server didn't prepare my food.
Yeah,
Um,
that's me. I'm if something is wrong and like if I'm missing a side or something like that, I will ask for it again. But I've had it cooked completely wrong and still eaten it before. You know what I
mhm.
mean? And I will be very. You know me though. I'm as blunt and stuff as I can be. I'm also will be very nice to my wait
Yeah,
staff.
yeah.
But I
Um,
think that also has to go with well, you like to call me the charming douchebag, and I think I will be more charming and stuff to my waist. But they're just doing their job.
yeah.
People, they're just working and trying to make ends meet. Um,
I think also just people being Karens. I think it's probably a universal pet peeve.
yeah,
Um, just
but
yeah. I
yeah,
There's probably plenty more.
yeah, yeah. I know I know there are. Um, just because I hear other people's complain. One of Jill's is not people not helping around the house, and her end up
Mhm.
having to do most of the stuff. And we've got
I
enough
got the receiving end of that one time.
from Jill.
Hmm. Um, you guys weren't even married yet. We were in college, and you guys were dating, and it was not communicated to me that we were cleaning house. You guys started cleaning house. I was doing something, and she got mad at me that I wasn't helping,
I don't
and I was
remember.
like, I didn't know I was supposed to be helping.
I don't remember that.
Um, and
But we've got enough kids in this house that they can step up and help. She'll get mad at me if I'm not if like. But you also know Jill is a workaholic. Jill does not sit down.
and
Um,
work acts of service is her love language, right?
yeah, and so she's constantly, and I'm like, Jill, just sit down with me. No, because if I sit down, I won't want to get up, and I don't want to sit down until I'm done. And I'm like, Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But and then there's this. I think I mentioned earlier when I was doing the intro. There's stuff like when you do things that are kind of just considered inconsiderate, like cooking fish in the work, break area or something like that. That's some people's pet peeves and things like that. It's and it's inconsiderate. I guess it goes back to the eating things, but I think we've run the course of this.
I mean, there's plenty more that we could name. I
Yeah,
only prepared four. Um, but we actually have talked a lot longer than I thought we were going to talk to. So
we've
I
talked
thought
a
this
long
was
time.
good. I thought this was going to be a shorter one,
I
but it
honestly
was
did
not.
too. Well, I honestly did too, but got into a lot more depth
Oh yeah, especially
into
like
some of them.
the
We chased some rabbit
we always
trails
do.
off of this one.
We
But,
always do. Um, but all right. Well,
well, hey, do you mind stepping outside real quick? And I'm gonna lock the door.
I'm about to grow another pet peeve.
I love you though.
I hate you.
Down and down the rabbit hole.